Check. Ashley Stern and Don Rexrow. The Middle Coach
They played hard to the end. I mean, that's something to be shown. You know, we haven't had a game this year in which our kids didn't play hard right into the fourth quarter. So I'm proud of them, and you know, hats off to Northern. They're obviously a good football team. I mean, coming off state championship run last year, and the number of players they got over there that are just doing great things on the field for them. So, you know, they made it hard on us, and they were the ones that won tonight.
Well, we made it hard on them too.
Yeah, we did. We played hard, and you know, I think they were able to capitalize on more big plays than we were, and so we've got to shore up some things to kind of secure those big plays, maybe tackle a little bit better, maybe catch the ball a little bit better, maybe polish some things up front. But that's what it's all about. It's a process, and I would say that we're better this week than we were last, and we're certainly better than we were week one, and that's what it is, right? Growth every week, and so if we continue that process, then who knows what we'll be at the end of the season. Absolutely proud, because, you know, there was opportunities in which these kids could have been down and out. I mean, against a good football team, Northern throws the ball really well. They've had, you know, a great tenure between last season, this season, and the season before, where, you know, they were able to get a lot of guys on the ball in space and create a lot of points. And you know, so at any point, you know, you could drop your head and start thinking, oh, here it comes, you know, because they scored quickly in the first quarter, and then they scored again, and all of a sudden you're down by 14. But our kids didn't. They didn't fall. They trusted the process. They fought through it. I mean, that's something to be really proud of, you know. And, so great things to come in these guys. I mean, obviously it stinks. It's a disappointment, but I love our guys. I love the trip.
Very exciting game. It always sucks when you don't come out on top. But, I mean, everybody played very well, made some mistakes, but we are going to fix them this week in preparation for PAX. So, and I think this week we got another challenge and we're coming out on top. I think it shows a lot of fight in us. And we got a bunch of dogs on this team, both offense and defensive side of the ball. Something bad happens, we're going to pick ourselves up, we'll go back on that field and hit somebody and make a tackle, make them plays that we need to make.
Their student section and their players will be wearing purple to represent them. And so we're in short time, you know, Miss Valentin has, and of course our student section have put together purple tape that we'll put on one of our arms to you know, kind of honor that, you know, because although we aren't experienced that firsthand, I think we all would understand the anguish and pain that goes with losing someone who's close to us in the scope. And we hope that we never have to deal with that, but you know, I think it's certainly something worth honoring. So you'll be wearing purple tonight. Of American Flag Scout Team Player of the Week. All right, this is the guy who, from the offensive perspective, gives us the work to make us better, makes that American-type sacrifice for his team, puts his team and everybody else ahead of himself. Because again, a lot of times, to the people in the bleachers, to the news reporters, to a lot of people who don't understand the program, their responsibility to the program isn't that big. And of course, we know this country stands on a lot of guys who have served us well, and some people forget that. And so for that, he's been mentioned many other weeks, but this is the first week he was eligible to do it. So for the offensive American Flag, defensive offense player of the week, the Scout Team Player of the Week is Jordan Blackwell. We'll hold the flag for you till we get there, right? And then something that was ingrained in me by my father when I was 8 or 9 years old, that I will not go down on first contact. And you know what, guys? That's really it, right? If you think about running the football, we shouldn't go down first contact. If you think about life, you shouldn't go down on the first daggone trial or obstacle that you face. Everything should be about pushing through and not letting us go down easy. You know, Walter Payton was my fan favorite. I love Walter Payton. Played for the Bears a long time ago. And his quote was, "Never die easy." Never die easy. And, you know, for this guy, I think when he runs the ball, we kind of get a feel of that, you know what, there's going to be punishment on the other end of it, and it's never done. And so, lineman, you make sure you're up there with him tonight, because I guarantee you there's going to be no pile that's going to keep him down. So that blue flag's been carried out to No Main Wallace. Disappointed in himself when he feels like he's let his team down than this gentleman here. And I know that when he can make up for it, he works his tail off to make us as good as we can. And his best days are still ahead of him because his potential is just through the roof. And that's Noah Jenkins. All right, and so with receivers and the quarterbacks, you know. So, Aaron Tunch, you got the hammer, buddy.
Kids came out with a lot of spirit. We just need to execute. And focus on the things that we can control. We were confident we could play with them. Again, you know, we always preach that things are done, the games are won in practice. So it's the way these kids want to approach practice and lock in a little better to execute and to get some of the things we want to accomplish done. So I'm over here and the kids talking in their own little huddle, and they have taken ownership with wanting to lock in and get better. So that's a big step right there. So we're going to attack it and attack it as approach. We're going to try to win games in practice and then let it roll over into game day. So
Cavalier means a lot. I thank Coach Nee for everything he's done for me. He's really turned me into a man. And ever since I was a little kid, I always come to the Calvert contact camps. And I've always enjoyed them, going out here on Saturdays and eating them burgers and hot dogs and hanging out with everybody. A lot of laughs and smiles. Every year I've been here so far, it's been amazing.
Got another oar here. And as I said before, every time we go through a reflection on the oar, we're about 20 now, I feel like I personally get something different out of the book every time. This one was pretty good, and it's spoken by Coach Valentin. And you guys know Coach Valentin pretty well, so I want to read, if you don't mind, an excerpt from it. And I want you guys to think about Coach Valentin and his love and care for you guys, his family, his community, and I just want you to hear what I say, and I challenge you not to be able to see Coach Valentin in this. The part that I want to read about is his perspective of the boat. In the book, Row the Boat. It says, the boat, you and your community, your circle of family and friends. That's what the boat represents to him. The boat keeps you dry and safe and has protection from the weather. There are two sides to a boat. The port side, which is the left, and the starboard side, which is the right. I think this represents my family and friends. The seat in which you are seated on, I believe, is your faith. Faith holds you up. It supports you. If you're paddling a boat from the floor, it would be impossible and it would make it very hard to get anywhere and so into your destination. Your faith in God and love of your family and friends, that builds your boat stronger. The bow of the boat, which is the front, to me represents my wife and kids. Without them, I would have nothing to paddle for or to paddle to. A boat without a bow or a point would be impossible to control. That point of the boat helps me cut through the water, making my journey easier. The bow helps me break over the waves and the wind and the weather that may stir up in my path. The stern of the boat, which is the back, is the side closest to my past. It has the name of my boat, the goal. I want my goal in life to be seen by everyone, so it's not a mystery to everyone that understands me. The stronger your circle of friends and the tougher they are, the tougher your boat will be against your obstacles. So that was his piece out of many pieces when it comes to his interpretation of Row the Boat. So I'm proud to give this one up to one of our coaches, Coach Valentin. All right, Coach.
It's a battle, you know, and these kids here and those kids down at Patuxent, there's a connection on so many levels because of there's things that we share, communities, you know, that we all come from. They play ball together in the youth levels. They play, you know, summer/spring 77 with each other. these guys are just integrated. And then the other thing is that, comparatively speaking to the other schools in the county, these two schools have a lot of similarities in their demographics. Certainly in the size of the schools, we're very similar compared to Huntingtown and Northern. And so you think about that, and you think about the fact that also there's a huge rivalry there that has existed for a long time, since Patuxent came into an existence. And I was here at Calvert when Patuxent was new, and knowing Coach Franks was here then, and Coach Esposito, who was a longtime assistant for Coach Franks, a guy that Coach Franks coached. And, he was the head coach of Patuxent, and, man, they coached some good football down there. And, of course, Coach Franks were coaching some good football here. We won a state championship. Then they won, they go to a state championship and didn't win, but they were there with some really good football players. And later on, Coach Crowns carries that tradition, and they do end up finally winning a state championship there. But you have two communities that care about their programs, and you got two programs that care about their communities, and they fight hard for the people in their communities. And so when you have that mixture, and you have kids who are just play with a lot of grit and they're tough, and then the rivalry piece, it's a war, it's a battle that I don't know, it doesn't parallel to any other game that we play in the season. You go out there and you play Patuxent, you're gonna get their most incredible and best shot. There's just another level of energy and stuff that they possess. And then for our guys, it's the same way. They're going to be able to kick it up another gear because they're playing Patuxent. And it's hard to imagine, right? Because we've watched Patuxent play some unbelievable games this year and play extremely well as they overcome injuries and other things that we all have to fight through. Hard to imagine, but they will play better. And they will play tougher, and they'll play the game of their life on Friday night. And then we, coming off a game against Northern, which we played with a lot of grit, a lot of heart, a lot of effort, finished strong, won the fourth quarter against a tough, team who won the state championship a year ago. And, I know our kids will find another gear and play to another level. And it'll be a war. And, it's just, when you talk to Coach Crowns about it, we like these games, we like these matchups because you see the best in your players. But man, it's like a triage unit after the game's over. It's like, man, you beat yourselves up, and so you're playing the game here in week 7, following 2 more games in the regular season, and then things could fall into a certain way that we end up playing each other again in the playoffs. Just incredible. And so you can't speak enough about this rivalry. I don't know what it's like as a guy who plays at Huntingtown against Northern. I don't know what it's like for Northern to play Patuxent. But in my opinion, in this county, this game is the big rivalry game. And I could be wrong, because I know Northern and Huntingtown got a stink for each other, but this one ranks pretty well up there. And so it's going to be an incredible game for sure.